Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Father's Note, where we promote fatherhood through building men. As always, we're so glad that you took the time out to stop by and spend the evening with us. I am your host, none other than Mr. Lionel Nelson.
And I'm the co-host, Mrs. Sharella Nelson.
Yeah, my better half. Yeah. Hey, you know what, though, babe? Since I said all that, I think I deserve a kiss. What you think? Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yes. All right. So listen, tonight we have a great show for you. We're going to do a book review. We're going to be talking about two fantastic books. First, Hello Mom, Miss Gigi. And let me get back to that. And also we're going to, that was written by our author, Regina Hodges, and also Just Between Us Girls by Dominique DUMERVIL. But we're going to start with Miss Hodges' book, the book called Hello Mom, It's Gigi. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. But before we get into this book, I want to place a little something. I got a little treat here for you all because Miss Hodges, you know, this author thing is a new thing for her, but she has another skill, another craft that she's pretty amazing. And I was glad to be able to work with her as an actress and as her director in one of my productions, Love Me Like a Rose. Check this out, y'all.
Brad, baby, can you help me with my bags? Brad! Really? I'm cute. I did everything in my power to protect my baby from the Brad in this world. You see, I never wanted her to run into a man like Brad who hides in plain sight. You see, ladies, if it seems too good to be true, it's usually too good to be true. Now, you see, I've had my share of Brads, more than I care to even think about. I didn't want her to experience the pain and the agony that I experienced at the hands of a man that said, I love you. See, it's all good when you first meet and you start dating. I mean, he is everything you ever thought you wanted in a man. He does and says all of the right things. And just when you are all in and you giving him your heart, your soul, your mind, and ladies, yes, even your body, the mask comes off, and standing right in front of you is somebody you don't even know. Please know that abuse comes in many forms. It can be verbal, it can be physical, it can be mental, emotional, sexual, and sometimes, ladies, it's all of the above. But you see, I was able to take my life back. And now I'm living it like it's golden. You understand? Don't get it twisted. I may seem like I'm easy going, but when it comes down to my baby girl, I will be his worst nightmare. So ladies, regardless of what he says, what he does, and what his mama says, it's up to you to live your life like it's golden. You heard me?
Yeah. With that said, we bring and we welcome Miss Regina Hodges to the show, A Father's Note. God bless you. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here.
Hey, listen, that was a fantastic. You know what? Let me give you some hand claps here. Give you an applause here. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen, man, it's a pleasure working with you. It's a definite pleasure working with you. And now you can add the word author or the craft, the skill to your resume.
Yeah.
A title? Okay. The title, yes. Author to your resume. Hello, Mom, it's Gigi. Okay, yeah. So I've been thinking so heavily about how I'm going to approach this book. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it up and then I'm going to just let you talk. All right. And then you can pick whatever you want to pick from there. But, you know, after I read it from front to back, I mean, I got into it. I mean, I highlighted some stuff in there. You might not can't see it, but anyway, when I finished reading it, I text you and I just gave you one word: powerful.
Right.
It was a powerful, powerful message. But then if I were to add some things, I'm just going to pull some things out. The word painful came to my mind: rejection, lack of trust in others, abandonment, depression. Even to at one point you blamed God. You know, and I highlighted there were some things in there that you said, such as I live trusting that whoever came into my life would eventually leave. You also said you expressed the overwhelming feeling of not being wanted. And it was amazing that I think in chapter 2 or 3, you said, as a creative thinker, I built a story of her life, talking about your mom, during your roller coaster, doing your roller coaster ride of the pregnancies and the marital turmoil that you experienced. You said, I got introduced to new cousins named neglect, abandonment, and rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that from that moment, you felt insignificant. You said that I feared that if she didn't behave, talking about your sister now, that they would send her away, and you couldn't bear losing also your mom and your sister. Now, she's going to clear all this up. Just bear with us here. Now, I got to read something out of the book. And you said that all I know, my sister was gone, just like my mama. That day changed my heart. I was wounded yet again. I felt abandoned again. I was invisible again. I was angry. You also mentioned that you was broken. And you said that my mother became a distant memory, that any thoughts of her that you would suppress it. And then I mentioned this to you when I read where you said that I got my voice back, but you had to take it back. So sit down. I hope that there was so much more now, because I didn't want to tell the story.
Right. We don't want to give it all away.
I didn't want to tell the story, but I want to highlight some things that really stuck to me. And I say all of this because I think we've known each other for about 5 years or so. Mm-hmm. And Miss Hodges, I would have never, ever in my life thought that a woman of your stature, your caliber, your demeanor, your spirit could have gone through what this book says that you have experienced, and still yet today be in your right mind. Talk to us about it.
Thank you, Minister Lionel and Mrs. Lionel, first of all, for having me on the show. I am deeply appreciative and grateful for that. Wow. This book was a surprise, if you can believe it. I'd been writing a book since 2011 that had nothing to do with my mom. And I never was able to finish that book. I never had a desire. And this is what's amazing to me about this work. I never had a desire to write anything about my mother. When I tell you, I pushed her down and pushed her down and pushed her down for years. If she popped up in my mind, not today. I wasn't feeling her. I wasn't trying to feel her. I wasn't mad or angry or bitter. I was just, what's the word Miss Freeman had me use? Indifferent. Indifference is where I live. So this book was not mine. It's not my book. It wasn't my thought. It was God. Because I believe with everything in me that God's will for me and this situation was that this needed to come to an end. My indifference or whatever I was feeling, and he wanted me to know some truth, because I had built a life around a story that I didn't know whether it was true or not. These are things I heard that She abandoned me. She left. And I had never tried to seek out the truth because the pain of it all was just too much. And back in June, having a casual conversation with an older cousin that started telling me some things that I never knew she knew. And out of that conversation, that very night, when we hung up the phone, she introduced me to my mother, a lady, some things I never knew, never heard before. We crying, both of us are crying on the phone. And when I hung up the phone, Mr. Hodges was asleep because it was about 12:30, 12:45 in the morning. And I wanted to wake him up because I wanted to share this moment with him. And God said, no, 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 no. Sit in what you just heard. Sit in it. Process it. I want you to let this marinate. All the things your cousin just told you, right?
Let me can you just hold your thought down? Let me interject something because I really want to make sure we set this up. Because this book really, when you wrote it, because it has the subtitle, A Daughter's Quest for Truth. And what happened was basically your mother abandoned you and your older sister at a very young age. And it was that she was in and out of your life and you struggled. Well, really, technically, both of you struggled with that.
Right.
Listen, let me just say this real quick. Listen, I encourage you all to get this book. Nick, you have to get this book because I don't even think we're going to do it some justice tonight with what is in it. Because go ahead and finish your thought though, because again, that's where we at. You share your experience of struggling, not having your mother in your life.
Right. So to try to wrap up as briefly as I can, the book, like I said, was born out of that conversation. And when I sat in what I had just heard, the Lord spoke in my spirit, go write it. Go write it. I got up and went in my office and I wrote that prologue that's in the book because I remembered that. I remembered that incident. And I'm not going to give too much away because I want the readers to be, I want it to be fresh to those that haven't read it, that have the book and the book. But that prologue was the prerequisite, if you will, for the rest of the story. Because I remembered that very young, but I remembered that incident. And before my sister passed away years ago, I called her and I asked her about, I thought I dreamed all that stuff. So the book, once I wrote that prologue that night, the next day was a Wednesday. Can I tell my audience and to you guys, from Wednesday to Sunday, I wrote every day, night and day. That book was finished by Sunday. 1 week. 1 week, the book was done. And it was pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring. My objective for the book is it's not just to tell my story. It was healing. The process was healing.
Right.
To hear some painful truths. I had to accept those truths as truth. And the Lord allowed me to see my mother's life, which I had never considered. I never considered, Miss Nelson, that she was a woman like I'm a woman.
My God.
I'm a mother.
You say just briefly, I'm just going to say just briefly, it's almost like what she experienced, what have you lived it as well.
Yes, our lives were parallel. And I didn't know that. I didn't see that. It was Miss Freeman, who is the publisher and my literary coach. She took me on a journey that made me angry with her sometimes. She knows, she's listening.
Let's bring her on. Let's bring on. Yeah, so let's here audience, we want to introduce you to Emily Claudette Freeman. She has a publishing company, Pecan Tree Publishing. She's a playwright as well as an author herself. Say hello to the audience.
Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
let's see if we can unpack this up because Miss Freeman, look, what's amazed me, right?
Mm-hmm.
This book was only 109 pages. It's a small book. It's a small book, but it's so heavy. And just thinking about what I read and what I experienced, I'm even right now, I having goosebumps because I think when I was talking with Regina, I'm surprised that she is not dealing with depression.
Right.
Even right now, it had to be an act of God in order to have brought out. But share with us how you were able to help her to unpack her story in such a small book.
So, part of my part of my love and my calling, if you will, is working with people with words. It's helping them get deeper into their story than they know their story is. And so often people come to me and they, like Regina, they say, I have this story, and they'll tell me, how the story came about and everything. And I'll say, okay, send it to me. Let me take a look at it. And what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for is whether or not I feel like you're ready to be vulnerable and transparent enough to make the necessary impact, right? If you're going to continue to hide behind your truth and hide behind your story and hide behind your words, then I'm probably not the person that can work with you, because my very mission is to shatter all of that. The moment we have our first conversation, now it's almost like a challenge for me. If I have that initial conversation with you, and to some degree you've not gotten angry with me, then I may not have been able to tear down a wall, right? And it shouldn't be that way. But I think I shared with Regina the other night. One of my clients said to me, "Every time I talk to you, you enrage me." And I said, "Why do you keep coming back? That's kind of crazy, don't you think?"
You peel the onion, huh? You go ahead and peel that onion, huh?
Yeah, you do, because it's necessary, especially with a story like Regina. One of the things I immediately realized is that it was a very tragic mother-daughter relationship story, right?
Yeah.
In that, while she was indifferent, the truth of the matter that she couldn't see or wouldn't see or didn't want to see is she was still a little girl that wanted her mama.
Wait. Let me unpack that. So even at the age that she is right now, you're saying that when she wrote this, she was still living out her youthfulness or her wantfulness for her mother.
Yes.
She had never overcame that, basically.
No. And the indifference was really, I believe, was a protective thing. It was a defense mechanism. If I can stay indifferent, you can mention her, I can hear her name, I'm gonna be okay, keep it pushing. Then I don't have to really face or sit down long enough to really deal with what's in me. I don't really have to, like she said, I don't really have to look at her as an actual person, as a woman that probably had her own traumas, that had her own demons. I don't have to look at her like that. I don't have to look at her as a real woman or a real person, right? Because I've learned to keep indifference right here. And as long as I'm indifferent and it's right there, I don't have to see her. I don't have to see me. But the thing about it is, then God sends you somebody like me that says, "Oh, that's such a cute mask. Can we throw that away, please?"
So let me pose this question to you, Miss Regina. So in actuality, she made you really look at mom for who she was. Without
angry is what Freeman did.
She did what now?
She made me angry a lot.
Well, why?
And through the process, I even said I should have just uploaded the book to Amazon and self-published, because I wouldn't have to be dealing with none of this stuff she's trying to make me feel, because I don't want to feel it. I just want to talk about it. I don't want to feel it. And so when she would give me a homework assignment every week. Every time I thought, okay, we good, we going to print. In our weekly conversations, okay, I have a homework assignment for you for chapter 2. What? I don't want to do no homework. I just want you to print this book, ma'am. I'm paying you. You're working for me.
So what did the homework assignments consist of, Ms. Freeman?
Okay, before she answers, let me answer.
Go ahead.
She was, hey, in chapter 3, I read the story. I understand it, but I don't feel nothing. There's no emotion attached to what you've written. Now, you want to tell me what really happened?
And then I would say, dig deeper, Regina. And she'd say, There is no deeper. And yes, there is. Listen. And then I would say, let's try this. Let's try this exercise, right? And so there are different exercises that I've learned, as a writer, especially as a playwright, when you're developing, as you know, as a playwright, you're developing these different characters, right? And so you have to really learn how to figure out what is the emotional thing, what is their mental level, right? So that you can kind of relay that in the writing. And so there's different ways that you can do that. I think with Regina, one of the things that we did was I had her draw these squares on a paper, and in these squares she had to write down different things. She had to write, what did she think about her mother? What does she think her mother would think about her at this age? What would she have said to her mother if she encountered her at this age? Why wouldn't you have said this to her if you encountered her at that age? And I imagine it was a difficult assignment to approach, because it's very different when you have a mother present in your life and you have a volatile relationship with that mother. And the key difference is that she's there. And even though the two of you are going to butt heads and it's going to be, combustible when the two of you get together, the key thing is she's still there.
She's still
right.
There. Right.
Right. And it was very clear to me from our very first conversation that Regina had some things she wanted to say. And but I think she was still hiding behind saying it. Right. Mm-hmm. And so one of the exercises we did that I'm sure probably pushed every button in her, bless her heart, and she just didn't say it to me, was I tapped into her acting abilities. And we did an improv lesson where I had her. We did an improv lesson where I was Regina and I had Regina be her mother. And so I asked things that I thought Regina may want to ask her, and she responded as her mother. And then we kind of, switch roles. So there are different exercises, because a lot of times when we have trauma in our stories, when we have pain in our stories, and we get to that place where God is saying, no, you need to write this now because I need you to heal, because I have a very specific assignment for you. And you can't get to the assignment until you finish healing over here.
Right.
That's good.
Right. And so, and I think it's a very non-traditional way for God to use me to help people in that vein. Most of the time people come to me like Regina for literary coaching, for writing coaching. And what ends up happening is I step into a totally different range, right? I step into a totally different thing, because a lot of times you've got to break some things. You've got to face some things. You've got to burn up some stuff before you can put what's really going on the page purely. And that's important to me, that it's pure what hits the page. It's not reality TV on the page. It's pure what hits the page.
Yes.
So can we say divine appointment?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because can I tell you, Claudette, I probably didn't share it with you. When I finished writing that Sunday, I checked Amazon, checked out some other things where you could self-publish and see how that whole process. And while I was doing that, I heard God clearly speak to me and say, contact Claudette. And I said, nope. I'm not going to put this in Claudette's hands, because no, she's going to make me work. And I don't want to work. The book is done. And for 2 or 3 days, I kept hearing that. Contact Claudette. I finally said, shoot, God. So I contacted. He says, hi. I said, guess what I did? He said, what? I said, I wrote a book. She said, you did? I said, yup. And I'd like for you to publish it for me. She said, oh.
Yeah. And I thought she was talking about the other book that she mentioned, because she and I had talked about that several years ago, a couple of
Black
times.
and White is the one you mentioned about?
Called The Raping of My Soul. I've been trying to write that book since 2011. And I got with Claudette with that, and it just kind of fizzled out, and I never picked it up again. I think the last time we talked about that book was 2018, and I just put it on the shelf.
It wasn't God's time.
She said, send it to me and let me read it. Okay, I was kind of thrilled at first, so I sent it to her. A whole week went by, and she knows how antsy I am. And she would not feed into that foolishness with me. A whole week went by when she finally responded. Okay, I read the book and I'm going to send it back to you. And there are some things I need you to really look at. I've highlighted in there. So I'm thinking, okay, one or two things. We got 22 chapters. I mean, maybe one or two things. Man, when I open up that email and she had sent that manuscript back with all that red running through it, I was like, see, this is exactly why I Lord. What's this? What's this? What do you mean by this? And what does this mean? And you didn't really explain this, and explain this to me, because I don't feel this. I read the story, but I feel no emotion. So why are you trying to hide? I'm like, I'm looking at it like, see, this is what I did not.
Yeah, but I want to say something to Miss Claudette's credit, because you mentioned about chapter 3, right? Let me see if I can show the audience what chapter 3, how many pages chapter 3 contains. But when I read it, it was like in your face. Now, this is it. That's it. That's all chapter 3. That side and that side, and then a little piece up here. That's it. But it got right to the point.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa. Oh my God. How was it? What I understand what I say this here, then we got to move on. What got me was that how were you able to constantly experience what you experienced, the abandonment, the lack of the relationship with your father, the absence of your daughter, I mean, not your daughter, but your sister being taken away from you, not seeing her from years. And then here it is, you go on this quest, as far as the military, think that was going to be an answer. Then even on the first, you have this experience that just really just rips at you again. And then you go from there to the military. Within a year, you're out of the military because you was thinking that it was going to be the rest of your life. And I mean, it was just a constant roller coaster, up and down, in and out, pain. What's another word I'm looking for? Disappointment.
Yes.
That's what I saw.
Yes.
But then in the end, just to close it out in the end, you pull your mom right into it, and I think what allowed you to connect with what your mom was experiencing, because you saw yourself live that same thing.
And I couldn't see myself except for Miss Freeman.
Right.
She forced me to see myself. Right. And then I saw the parallel.
Yeah.
My life was eerily like my mom's, and I'd never seen that. Wow. I needed Miss Freeman. I could have uploaded it to Amazon and published it just like it was written.
Right.
But
right.
I know in my heart it would not have had the impact that it has had I not gotten and followed God's order to elicit Miss Freeman's help. There's no way in what it is. No way. It would have been just.
Great job, Miss Freeman.
Thank you.
And I commend you. Listen, and I know you mentioned 22 chapters, right? But let me say to the audience, they are not very long chapters.
Right.
They are not very long chapters. And that's what caught my attention. You didn't say a lot, but you said enough. Mm-hmm. You said enough to tell the story. Now, I'm going to say this, and then we got to get to the next part, because we got a book signing coming up. And let me see where we got a book signing. Here we go. That's happening this week, right? Okay.
May I say to your audience, a lot of people ask me, why are you doing that on Christmas Eve? It's Christmas Eve, Miss Regina. Why would you? Christmas Eve is my mother's birthday. Right. And so a better way to honor her memory. I had never, ever, this would be the first time, I'm 66 years old, that I've ever celebrated my.
Wow.
To be the first time. I never celebrated her on Mother's Day or her birthday. So that's why that date was chosen. If anybody's wondering why I would go that route on Christmas Eve when people are trying to cook some collard greens, You
even sharing here how you came about the name GIGI.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll give this to your readers and give them a little hint. When my mother passed away in 1985, now mind you guys, I'd been separated from all my family, cousins on both sides, family on both sides. So my mother died in Hartford, Connecticut, but we're all from Columbia, South Carolina. So we brought her body back to Carolina. And when I walked in my aunt's house, the aunt in chapter 3 that we're talking about, when I walked in her house, one of my cousins said, "Mom, Gigi's here." So I turned around. And my cousin said, "Why are you turning around? Why are you doing that?" I said, "Well, who is this Gigi? Who is that?" She said, "That's you." I said, "When?" What? Name. I said, "What? I never heard that before." She said, "We named you that when you were a baby. Nobody ever called you Gigi."
Wow.
No.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
And so that's why the book is titled "Hello, Mom."
It's
It's
Gigi.
Gigi.
Yeah.
Because that's Gigi that was wounded. That it wasn't Regina. That was Gigi. That took the brunt, that took the kick, that took the hits. And it's only by the grace of God that all that stuff you mentioned, the neglect, the pain, the abandonment, all of that, that I'm still in my right mind. I'm not drunk. I'm not cracked out. I ain't on no drugs. I ain't running no streets. I ain't got AIDS.
Yeah,
I didn't see his hand then when I was in it, but I certainly have seen his hand. He's been faithful. He's been, and I'm so grateful.
Well,
to tell story, to impact somebody's life.
And can I just say here that that's why it is so very important for us to, to tell our stories, because it's an opportunity for us to, one, be healed, but for us to reclaim some stuff that we lost in the fire, right?
Right.
Some stuff we lose in the fire, we're supposed to claim back. And so writing your story is a wonderful way to do that. And I will say, typically in the publishing industry, and I probably what could have pushed Regina to get to that, that 40,000 words that they typically want in the publishing industry. But a lot of times what I've found is that the impact can be in a smaller package, right? And so that's a beautiful caveat to deciding to do the independent publishing route, is that you have that flexibility. But I will say this, don't get caught up on whether or not, if you work with someone that's going to help you, pull out the therapy, the healing, the counseling, the ministry of what you write, then the impact will be what it's supposed to be. I mean, you got to think about one of the greatest books in the world. Everybody remembers that first line in that book, but it's very hard pressed to find anybody else, unless they study English literature, who can tell you anything else in the rest of that book. And that book is A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Everybody knows that sentence, right? That sentence has impact beyond probably everything else in that book.
Right.
Well, so if an impact can be in a sentence, it can absolutely be, as effective in 12,000 or 15,000 words as it can be in 40,000 words, if you are willing to get your healing so that you can help somebody else heal.
That's it
That
right
was
there.
the key right
that
there.
was the key right there. And I think that's what your process with her, that's what you were helping her and wanted her to get to.
Yes.
If you want this to be successful, that Gigi, you got to heal first before you can tell anybody else your story.
Words. Minister Lionel, those were her words, exact words.
Well, that's it. So talk to us about the book release. It's going to be at Miramar Library.
Yes.
2050 Civic Center Place, Miramar, Florida, 33025. And it's going to be between 12 and 4 p.m.
Correct.
Christmas Eve. All right. So if you want to purchase this book, the books are $19.99. Hey, y'all, black folks, it's just $20. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to ship to you, it's going to be $23.50. And you can order the book through Zelle. 954-329-5063, or you can Cash App her $sign Hodges, HODGES, GIGI, GIGI, and you can purchase the book that way. Or you can come and meet us, because we're going to be there at the book signing, the book release event on Saturday. listen, this is definitely an honor, because I often say that she's my friend, but she reminds me, no, you my brother. And she's Ivy.
And
I'm
his sister that has a corral.
Yeah.
Knows that sometimes I need corralling because I can just look.
Hey, thank you so much, Miss Claudette, for your attending. You're coming on the show. Certainly glad that you're helping. I think that that what you have shared would definitely help a lot of other future writers. I have written a book myself. I think I'm going to check you out, Miss Claudette. See what you can do.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Tremble a little, but don't be scared.
There's the only thing I fear is God. That's it.
About that.
Yes, sis. What's up?
Listen to your sister. Listen, make sure you had your Wheaties. You remember the commercial about the Wheaties?
Yeah.
Make sure you. I'm telling you. Okay.
Well,
you're gonna have to stand in the paint, bro. You gonna
take
to the finish line. Okay. You're gonna have to be standing in the paint, bro. I'm telling you.
Well, we gonna see what's up there, because I might have to check Popeye out, see if he got an extra can of spinach for me.
You gonna need two, bro. And to your audience, I do this little plug to your audience. If you have any type of literary work, I'm telling you, best and west and northeast and south of the Mississippi is Claudette Freeman Literary Services. She will do you good. She's a woman of God. She loves God. She told me, I'm not going to release you till God say so. I'm like, all God, right. Please say so.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
So,
wow. Hey, we got to get up. We got to move on. We got another guest. Another guest.
Thank you so much.
Hey, appreciate you. Hey, much love. We're going to talk, okay? Again, thank you so much, Ms. Freeman. God bless y'all. All righty. Okay. God bless. All right. Man, that was up, baby. You had no questions?
When was I going to ask a question? First of all, you didn't even give me a chance to say boo, bye, anything.
Okay, I apologize. I got to do better than that. But you set it up down there.
I did what?
You set it up. I was trying. Listen, let me say it like this. I'm just trying to look out for you. Let me see how we gonna do in the next year. Hey, I tell you what. On our next guest, the floor is yours, babe. The mic. I'm gonna turn your mic up even more. Okay. I'm gonna let you do this thing. All right. So hey, listen,
we need that same energy you had. You bring it on. Bring Miss Dominique in.
No.
Same energy.
You're the co-host, so I'm gonna let you co-host.
I'm co-hosting tonight, I'm coasting through something.
Hey,
right
look,
now.
let's talk about this book.
Just Between Us Girls.
And with that said, we're going to bring on none other, I guess,
our sister, my sister,
our friend, and everybody, our ride and die. Miss Dominique DUMERVIL, say hello to the audience.
Hello, everybody in a Father's Note community. We
are
so glad to be here. But like I said, I'm a regular, so.
Oh yeah, stranger to the show, definitely.
That's it. I love a Father's Note.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, I ain't got nothing. Hey, listen, while you're there, if you're there, those of you who are watching Facebook, hey, how about like, share, comment, as well as, listen, do this for us. And those of you who are watching by YouTube, do the same. Like, share our content here. And I'm going to ask you to do this. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We're chugging along, and you can help us if you go over to our YouTube channel at A Father's Note. That's all you have to put. You can Google it at A Father's Note. It will take you straight to our YouTube channel, and subscribe. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe. Okay, and let me hit a quick pause here. Miss Claudette did put up her information. If you want to reach out to her, www.claudetteliterary.com, okay, or www.pecantreebooks.com, okay? Go ahead, check her out. Listen, we got to support our own. We got to support our people, okay?
Yes.
All right, but hey, this is good. This is good. This is good. So let's talk about just between us girls. I'm gonna say my little 2 cents. Then I'm getting out the way. I might even just go ahead and step out and let y'all handle this here.
No, you're not gonna do that because you read this book. You read this book in what did he say, Miss Dominique? Like 5 hours?
I couldn't put the book down. This book, again, this book only have 56 pages in it. And it is powerful.
It really is a very powerful book.
So what you got?
She I just want to give some accolades.
Mm-hmm.
We already said she's our friend, but she is my friend, my sister. She's a woman of God. She loves the Lord. She's a wife, a mother, 3 beautiful adult children. Okay, she empty nesting over there too, just like us, right? And she's an educator. She's a business owner. She's 2-time author. ABC, right? And just between us girls, I mean, when I say this lady is on fire, she is on fire. Anything you need from her, if she can help you, trust me, she's jumping in. She's jumping in to do what she needs to do to help you out.
Okay.
But the book, I want to just ask you, what inspired you to write the book? Tell us about
what
Just Between Us Girls.
Yes.
Well,
let the audience know.
Week, you had a very special show with Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And Mrs. Jones, Angelica Joy Parati, and Kim Landros, they were my inspiration. All 3 of them got married last year.
Yes.
They got married. I mean, the love, I was just overflowing with love. And, I wanted to give them a gift. Yeah, money is given. They always get money. But
Right.
I wanted to give them what we never had, just a little piece, something that would help them as they transition into this next phase of their lives. And so I wanted to write them a letter. And I got up one day and I got to the computer and it was like, okay, I started typing. Well, after 45 pages or so, this was a very long letter. And I was like, and honest to God, just like Miss Regina said, it was totally God. If I tell you that in one day, it took to write this book.
Wow.
And then afterwards, yes, there's the editing process and the questions and the deeper dive. Yes, all of that took place, but the basic framework, one day. I know it was nothing but the Holy Ghost.
God, yes.
And the reason I say that is because God has so much to say about relationships, about love, about sex, about intimacy. This is not, and it started with a Father's Note. When Minister Lionel started talking about the purpose of sex, I was all over it because I was not only doing the research, but God has already, he's been speaking. And again, people have it twisted. They're listening to what the devil says and they're twisting it up. Religious people think they got a lock on it. No. God has a voice and he is using us to set people free and let them know sex is a good thing. Even God said it's a good thing for a husband and a wife. If we do it God's way, we're going to get God's results.
Come on.
So okay, let me hit some of the let me go with some of the chapters here. And I'm gonna call them out. Say it again. What the hell?
What's your favorite chapter?
Go ahead. I'm see what I'm saying? You see what I gotta deal with? She tell me one thing, then I'm out of it. Go ahead, sweetie. Handle your business.
To be out of it.
Go ahead. Handle your business. Babe.
I just wanted to go over the table of contents because when I said it's sultry, very sultry. Okay. Chapter 1.
Am I allowed to respond? Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I liked that one. I liked that one.
Of a queen?
Yeah, that was good.
Yes.
That was good.
I love could I read a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
I can do that. Okay.
Of course.
I love what she wrote concerning chapter 1, in chapter 1 says the world has a misconception of the word queen. And that is so true, because that's all you're hearing right now. Oh, what's up, queen? Oh, queen and king. And this. Do you even know what a queen is? Do you know her role? Do you know what she does? Come on. Come on.
And she don't walk around half naked either, huh?
No.
She don't have to.
No.
She don't have to. Listen to this. It says, what I love about Esther is not only was she beautiful, but she was smart. She knew how to talk to people. She gained favor, and her gifts brought her before the king. Many, listen, ladies, listen, please. Many had come before her, and the king had sex with them. But Esther was different. She challenged his mind. Now,
yeah, that was good.
That right there challenged his mind. See, once you drop the panties, yeah, anybody could do that. But then how do you keep his attention? Come on.
Well,
how do you keep his attention?
You with that, babe?
I did.
You did.
I did. Because look, she talks about it.
Listen, we talk about foreplay. We talk about pillow talk. We talk about intercourse. We talk about all the stuff that happens. And listen.
But chapter 3, the art of conversation. See, you done dropped it like it's hot. But how do you keep his attention? How do you talk to your king?
It's this book teaches you, ladies, about how to be good wife material.
Yes.
Genuine wife material. Let me change. Great. Okay. Great, genuine.
All that.
Wife material. Can I say that?
Yes, you can.
It's on a serious note. I'm telling you, this book is deep. It is deep, deep,
powerful.
To the point, just as Miss Freeman had said with our previous guest, to the point, well written, definitely.
And I'd like to add, you see, there are so many narratives that are out there today, and a lot of them will bring you to destruction or bring you to a place of dark.
I like that.
Through this book, it is my intention to really give you what God is saying. Why? Because he has something to say. You've heard all the clatter. You've heard all the background noise. You've heard all the shop talk. But have you ever considered just maybe God has something to say? And listen, ladies, we didn't come knowing. I'm grateful for the women who have gone before me, the older women who pulled me to them, and they imparted wisdom to me. And I pray that I become that for somebody else. Because you know what? If we don't impart wisdom and truth, then you know what? We will lose an entire generation. And it is so important that they know that, you know what? You want to be a freak in bed? That's okay between you and your husband. Listen, Christians need to get it right. Why? Because we have the truth. We have God. If we got God on our side, we can't lose.
Can't lose.
And Christians should be the least restricted people when it comes to enjoying the gift that God has given us. Instead of being all wrapped up, tangled up, and bound up in religion, you need to get wrapped up, tangled up in your relationship with God and your spouse. Learning how to please each other, learning how to talk to each other, learning how to minister to each other. And that is a big part of this book. And it gives applicable strategies as well.
You say in chapter 3, you say in chapter 3, the art of conversation, he says this: arousing a man isn't that difficult, but arousing his spirit and mind is a whole new level.
It's true.
A good woman will be able to speak to a man's spirit with God-filled words.
Yeah.
That's deep.
That is
Yeah.
deep.
Because with that same tongue, you can build them up or you can break them down.
Lay 'em down. That's it.
So if you call yourself queen, you better learn how to build them up.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, I again, audience, look, it's $20, right?
Mhm.
It's worth it. This book is every bit of worth it. Let's just share some of the other table of contents here, other chapters in the table of contents. We taught chapter 2, exploring your sexuality. Chapter 4, love, romance. 6, marriage. 7, intimacy, knowing intimacy. 8, sexual union, foreplay.
Now, what I like was chapter 8, 9, and 10. They all say sexual union. Then she got foreplay, intercourse, and pillow talk. It was deep. She had to break it down. 3 chapters on just that. Because people, they're not thinking about, they just want to go right in. No. No. Let's build it up. You talk about it. You give them tips and strategies on what to do. Send them a little love note throughout the day.
In essence, it's seeing that what we can say is that you undid a lot of what you think it is, or a lot of the narrative from a worldly perspective, and you identify what it should look like from a godly perspective. In essence, to keep it holy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And still be a freak, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, listen. Hey, listen.
I don't want nobody
knows that level is Mr. Dumervil.
but
you know
I don't
what?
want
the marriage bed again. The marriage bed is holy and it's undefiled.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm not going to tell people what to do. What I will tell you is when you come together and honor, you're honoring not just each other, but you're honoring God in your union.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Because the purpose of sex, as we've already defined, is that oneness.
Oneness.
Yes.
And it's not just oneness physically. It's oneness in every aspect.
Yes.
And once you get there, the rest is Kool-Aid. The rest is just great.
Then you have in chapter 11, maintaining the fire, 12, games and activities.
Go back to maintaining the fire.
Okay, maintaining the fire. Yes. What you guys say about that?
Maintaining the fire. That's what a lot of them don't realize, don't know how to do. And that's why they end up with these work husbands and work wives, because they don't know how to maintain the fire with the wife or husband that they already have.
Talk, sis.
Okay.
Talk, sister.
Come on.
Talk, baby.
She gives tips and strategies. I'm telling y'all need this book.
Hey,
you need to get this book.
Hey, that's why it's easy for me when they try to hit on me. Y'all think women don't try to hit on men, especially when they good looking like me? I just had to put that out there. Yeah.
This guy.
I know. That's my brother.
Hey, listen. I tell her quick, hey, yeah, my wife tell me that same thing. Yeah, that's what my wife told me this morning. Oh, you smell good. Yeah, that's my wife's fault.
Do those things.
Yeah,
you have to.
Yeah,
you just said he was your king, right?
Yeah.
So why not tell? Oh, man, you wearing that suit today?
Oh yeah, I just had that effect on clothes, you know.
And you know what? I wanted to add also, it's, Minister Lionel, he said something to me. He said, men need to read this book. I say, for all the men who are listening, I said, if there is a woman that you love, that you really want her to be wife material, or gentlemen, if you have a wife and you want to get her a gift, get her the book.
That's it.
That's
Get
it.
the book.
And let the Holy Ghost pray over it, and let God do what God does, and see if there's not a change. Don't demand, don't expect, but expect God to do what, because it's his word in this. And let me tell you something. God wants your relationship to be fruitful. He wants you to come together. He wants that oneness. Because when you guys are one, no devil in hell can stand in your relationship. I'm not saying that there won't be times, and I'm not saying there won't be trouble. But what does the word say? That a threefold cord is not easily
broken. That's it.
So fortify your marriage with God, with truth, and with that oneness that we're talking about. And I think Just Between Us Girls will help you in that.
It's a great stocking stuffer.
Yep. One more thing in 30 seconds. Tell us what in chapter 13 you said, what mama never told me. Give me 30 seconds on that.
Back in the day, all mama said was keep your legs closed. That's all mama said. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I was like, okay. But I didn't see what was the big deal about that. I was like, okay. But I came to understand later what that entailed. My thing is, I had no reference for sex. It was just out of my scope. You know, I had no frame of reference. I wish that somebody would have told me, would have given me a book like this. And one of the people in our focus group and our Just Between Us Girls focus group, she came to me and she told me the same thing. I wish I would have had this. And that thing broke, it broke something in my spirit. When I said, God, I thank you. And just the way that she needed it, I want other young women and some not so young women to get it too. There's a lot of older women who have a very, their thinking about sex is so limited because they don't know and they don't seek to know because they're in shame. And my thing is, I don't want people to be in shame because again, if you know that this is a gift and it's a gift that God gives, we should be able to access everything that God has given us. And if you don't know, I don't want people to be ashamed. I want them to come and ask questions because if you don't know, you don't know. There's no shame in not knowing. But if you have a resource and it matches up with the word of God, then you have something you could fall back on.
Right.
And like I said, we just want to make sure we're a blessing to people. We want to make sure we give them tools for success because the church is growing. And I don't mean just having babies. People are getting fortified. The enemy is ramping up. So we have to have the truth go before us. And God's word will always go before us.
Tell the viewers how they can purchase the book.
Just go on my website, Strategic Success Consultant Services.com/books. I put it in the chat. So if you want to share it, you can share it out. But again, this is this book. And if you want to buy two, one for you and one for your girlfriend so that you guys can read it, share, do notes, fine. I would love to come. Any ministries that are on this show, if you'd like me to come and talk to your women's group, I'd be honored to come and share some of those key points. Because ladies, we already talking about it. Whether it's in the beauty shop, barbershop, wherever, in the shopping malls, we're talking about it. So we might as well just say what God has to say about it.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, and I'm gonna you know what? I can't talk about everybody else's book, and I don't put a plug in for my mom's book.
That's right.
I got to plug mom. Yep. This is my mother's book, Diary of a Virtuous Wife. Great book. This How to Live with Infidelity and Win Doing It God's Way. You can reach her. I don't even remember her cash out.
Cash App $ Rosa B80.
Okay, Cash App $ Rosa B80. All right. Or either you can reach out to me, DM me, and I will see to it. This is another great book for you that are going through relationships with issues and you have infidelity in your marriage. That's a great book. Hey, Miss D, we got to get out of here. Hey, thank you so much for being our guest tonight.
Yay.
And all of our guests. We just want to thank all the listening audience for, hey, listen, just being a support here on what we do here at A Father's Note. Okay, Miss Hodges says that my book is available online December 24th. She put 34th, but it's 24th. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, etc. It will also be available as an ebook. Yeah, I went and looked for it to be an ebook, but they say not yet. So anyway, hey, look, Miss D, thank you so much. Love you. Appreciate you. God bless. We got to get out of here. Hey, everybody. Thank you again. We'll see. Oh, no. Next week is Christmas. I might come on and just do something. I don't know.
You're not. It's Christmas. Family time. All
right. Boss lady done already. Done said what you had to say. Hey, we'll see you next week anyway. God bless. Hey, don't forget, go to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. While you're there, please subscribe. Show some love. All right. God bless you. Take care. Good night, everybody.